Britain votes on Brexit. The Church of Scientology opens a new movie studio, and the feds somehow lose the wife of the Orlando shooter. This is SkyWatch TV for Thursday, June 23rd, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. First up, what has to be one of the great ironies: the young man who tried to assassinate Donald Trump at a rally in Las Vegas Saturday night is in the country illegally. 19-year-old Michael Sandford came to the U.S. from England and reportedly overstayed his visa, like 40% of the illegal immigrants in the country. Thus, he is one of the people that Donald Trump's proposed immigration plan would find and deport. Sandford tried to take a service weapon off a Las Vegas police officer at that rally and was arrested. He could spend 10 years in prison. Mr. Trump yesterday announced a team of Christian advisors to help him win the evangelical vote in November. 1,000 people attended a closed-door meeting at a hotel on Times Square in New York Tuesday. Religious conservatives, Protestant and Catholic, the meeting moderated by former Governor Mike Huckabee. Trump promised to get rid of IRS regulations that limit political speech for 501c3 tax-exempt organizations. Now, it's not clear how he's going to do that. It's not really up to the president. That was a vote of Congress. He also answered questions from the crowd on LGBT issues, immigration policy, and other things. The Evangelical Advisory Board includes former U.S. House member Michelle Bachmann, Kenneth and Gloria Copeland, James Dobson, Jerry Falwell Jr., Jentizen Franklin, Jack Graham, Bishop Harry Jackson, David Jeremiah, Richard Land, Ralph Reed, James Robeson, Paula White, and others. It's a mixed bag, but there are several on this board connected to the Apostolic Prophetic Movement, the so-called New Apostolic Reformation, a group that, well, many of which in that movement believe that Christians need to basically conquer the world because Jesus is stuck in heaven until we do. Now, I've got an article on the upcoming election and our duties as Christians in the political process in the forthcoming debut issue of the new SkyWatch TV magazine. There are valid issues and opinions on both sides. Well, frankly, on all sides. It's a multifaceted issue as we look at what's coming our way in November. But my observation in the article, anyway, is this, that this is about the 7th or 8th presidential election in a row in my lifetime where we Christians have been told that this is the most important election ever. And in fact, if you do a search through history, I think you'll find that we've been told this every 4 years since Abraham Lincoln was in the White House. That's not to say that we shouldn't participate in the process, that we Christians shouldn't be involved in politics. We just need to remember where it fits on our list of priorities, somewhere below the Great Commission and making disciples of all nations. The churches in California are being required to pay for abortions thanks to a new ruling by the Obama administration. 2 years ago, the California Department of Managed Health Care reclassified abortion as a basic health service and ordered all insurance plans in the state to cover surgical abortions immediately. Now, churches there understandably filed a lawsuit last October asking the administration to uphold the Weldon Amendment. Actually, this was a separate issue. The Weldon Amendment is part of a federal law that protects those who object to participating in abortion because of conscience, moral objections. Well, yesterday, the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Civil Rights said its investigation found no violation of civil rights because the OCR said the Weldon Amendment only protects health insurance plans, not those who buy them as required by law. And since no insurance companies have complained, only the insurance customers, no problem. And so churches that provide health insurance for their employees in California, at least until this lawsuit is ruled upon, have to pay for surgical abortions. Now, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, I presume, is an educated person. She must be. She is the highest-ranking law enforcement official in the United States. She seems, for some indecipherable reason, to be doing everything in her power to disabuse all of us of the notion that she actually knows what she's doing. Take, for example, over the weekend when she announced that the FBI would release partial transcripts of Orlando shooter Omar Mateen's 911 calls in which he pledged allegiance to the Islamic State because she said she didn't want to further his pro-ISIS propaganda, even though everyone in the country who'd seen even a single newscast over the previous week, knew that he had made that phone call and why he made it. Well, now Attorney General Lynch has revealed to us her master plan for fighting Islamist terror, and it is love. That's right. Our most effective response, according to Attorney General Lynch, to terror, our most effective response is compassion, unity, and love. Apparently, a hug and a mug of warm cocoa will turn these terrorists from their violent paths. Now, I'm not belittling the idea that we should extend love and understanding to people of all races, creeds, and religions. Love and forgiveness is a powerful response, especially in the aftermath of a tragedy like the one that took place in Orlando. And love to those who are still in bondage, and I use that word deliberately, to Allah is important. Christ died for them too, for all who will confess their sins and accept him as Lord. And it is not up to you and me to deprive them of the opportunity to make that decision. But if there is somebody shouting Allahu Akbar and seeks to do harm to my wife, my child, my future grandchildren, in my mind, they have forfeited that right, and I will do all in my power to protect them. Our most effective response to violent Islam, and not radical Islam, violent Islam, as Dr. Tim Furnish pointed out earlier this week, violent Islam is not radical, it is mainstream. And there are 1,400 years of history to back up that assertion. No, our most effective response is actual control of our borders and access points to this country, and an immigration policy that keeps people out who don't want to assimilate, but follow a religion that commands them to change the native culture to comply with its religion by force if necessary. And I will point out, at the risk of being politically incorrect, that ours is a nation that is not founded on the Quran, but it is founded on Judeo-Christian morality and the rights of Englishmen. And here's another feather for Attorney General Lynch's cap. She had to admit at a press conference yesterday that federal investigators, do not know where Omar Mateen's wife, Noor Salman, is right now. They want to know how much she knew about the Orlando attack and when she knew it, but they've got to find her first. Now, yesterday, I mentioned that the U.S. Senate shot down 4 gun control proposals offered in the wake of the Orlando slaughter, 2 from Democrats, 2 from Republicans. However, the Senate does seem willing to consider a Republican proposal to expand the power of the FBI to spy on us. This proposal would broaden the type of telephone and internet records the FBI can request from companies like Alphabet, that's Google, parent company, Google and Verizon, without a warrant. This change was an amendment added on to a criminal justice funding bill being considered in the Senate. It's not clear if the Senate passes this that the House would do likewise, but we'll keep an eye on it. And speaking of voting, in the UK today, voters decide whether Great Britain will stay in the European Union. Polls over the past week show that Remain and Leave are running about neck and neck. In fact, it's so close that the weather forecast may play a role in how the vote turns out. Actually, the weather forecast showed rain across southwest England today, and it is believed that heavy rain, if it appears, will dampen, little pun there, the vote for Remain. World central bankers are gathering at the headquarters of the Bank of International Settlements, awaiting the outcome of the vote in Britain. They get together anyway every couple of months in complete secrecy. They take no minutes while they plot the world's global economic policy. Some analysts have suggested that these bankers, the central bankers, are actually hoping for a Brexit vote, that Britain will vote to exit the EU, because it would provide them, so the theory goes, an excuse for the next round of central bank intervention in economies, which around the world are struggling, if you haven't noticed. This could provide the political cover that they need to launch helicopter money. In very brief terms, that basically means cranking up the printing presses and throwing money out of helicopter windows in order to stimulate the economy. It's not quite that silly or that ridiculous. Well, it is ridiculous, but it's not quite that simple. The money is transferred from central banks to the private sector, either banks or citizens directly through guaranteed monthly payments. It's never been tried before, first proposed by economist Milton Friedman, but we could see it become a reality if bankers can use British exit from the EU as an excuse. And one more story about Brexit. It appears that something that UK Prime Minister David Cameron said during the Brexit campaign wasn't entirely true. He told British voters that potential membership of Turkey in the EU wouldn't be a topic for decades and that Turkey would not become a member of the EU before the year 3000. Well, press in France reporting that the EU will open new membership talks with Turkey in a few days. See, Brexit supporters were saying that we needed to leave the EU, the UK needed to leave the EU to avoid the potential of millions of Turks suddenly arriving in England if Turkey was granted admission to the European Union. Well, EU member states getting together June 30th, next week Thursday, to begin negotiations on letting Turkey into the EU. Here at home, Hollywood may never be the same, or it could be the Scientologists are just figured out that they can cut out the middleman. The Church of Scientology has opened brand new movie and media studios on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. They claim these are bigger and better equipped than the studios at Paramount. Scientology leader David Miscavige says this will provide the church uncorrupted communications to the billions as they try to reach every last person on earth. They put at least $50 million into renovating a complex on Sunset Boulevard that they inherited from the public TV station there in Los Angeles. This includes a CNN-like studio for 24/7 news for the faithful from the Church of Scientology. Now, you know some of the biggest names in Hollywood are Scientologists like Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Kirstie Alley, Kelly Preston, Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson, all Scientologists. A number of other actors that whose faces you would know, if not their names, who are members of that church. Former Scientologist number 3 man, Mike Rinder, recently featured in a documentary critical of Scientology, said that the church does not need this new facility, calls it a fundraising ploy to make it appear to followers of the church that it's doing well. And finally, the person who brought the world a manuscript supposedly showing that Jesus had a wife admits what we Christians already know. He didn't. 4 years ago, Harvard historian of early Christianity Karen King brought forward a so-called Gospel of Jesus' Wife, a scrap of papyrus that contained the words, "Jesus said to them, my wife." Well, last week in response to an article published by The Atlantic in the July-August edition critical of the piece, in which journalist Ariel Sabar did some pretty impressive detective work in tracking the actual source of this document, Professor King has said that it probably is a fake. Now, critics have been saying for 4 years that errors in Coptic grammar, similarities to the Gospel of Thomas, a Gnostic work, and other problems with this papyrus pointed to it being a forgery, but she had defended the piece until the article in The Atlantic, although she still says that she would need scientific proof or a confession from the guy who brought her the papyrus to make a definitive finding of forgery. Now, either way, Jesus did not marry Mary Magdalene and go off to the south of France to give birth to the plot of the Da Vinci Code. Well, just one more day for that special introductory offer for the new SkyWatch magazine. 5 years for the price of 3, plus the new book, I Predict What 12 Global Experts Believe You Will See by 2025. We'll tell you how you can get it at the end of this program. And still time to submit your story for an opportunity to be published by Defender Publishing in time for Christmas. This is the No Fences writing contest, inspired by Nita Horn's biography, No Fences, and the plastic pony that has led to Whispering Ponies Ranch. Information about that posted, along with official rules and instructions at skywatchtv.com/no fences. On SkyWatch TV this week, Gary Stearman and Bob Ulrich are friends from Prophecy Watchers, who we'll be seeing in Colorado Springs next month, give you a sneak preview of the Prophecy Conference and how you can bring it to your home if you're not going to be at Colorado Springs. You'll see it again Saturday afternoon, SkyWatch TV broadcast on the Victory Television Network, 3:30 p.m. Saturday afternoon Central Time in Arkansas and around Memphis, and then on WCLF TV in the Tampa-St. Petersburg area, 6:30 p.m. Central Time Saturday night. And of course, that program available now online at the SkyWatch TV channel on Roku and on Vimeo. And while you're online, remember our exclusive online content, which includes, well, these daily news updates, Into the Multiverse with Josh Peck, the new edition just posted today, and of course tomorrow, Sci Friday with my best friend and wife, Sharon K. Gilbert. All of those available at skywatchtv.com and the SkyWatch TV channels on Roku, YouTube, and Vimeo. And of course, our podcast gives you an audio-only option if you need something you can carry with you without having to look at a screen. Handy when you're mowing the lawn or driving to work, or if you're at work, something to plug into your ears to keep you entertained and occupied. We update the podcast every single day of the week. New content 7 days a week on the SkyWatch TV podcast. To find it and find instructions on how you can download it directly to your computer or mobile device, log on to skywatchtv.com and then look for the podcast link in the top menu bar. Your support keeps us going here at SkyWatch TV during the month of June in honor of Father's Day. We're offering as our thank you for your support of any amount 2 books suitable for Dad: The Man in the Mirror, Solving the Problems Men Face, and The Fisherman's Guide to Life. We'll send you those books in the U.S. and Canada for your donation of any amount during the month of June. For more information and to donate, log on to skywatchtv.com/donate. And your index finger also has the power to help us and costs you nothing. Click like, click share, and click subscribe. It gets the word out. And of course, if you have comments or questions for us, we'll take those at dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV. Save nearly half off the cover price when you subscribe now to the brand new SkyWatch TV magazine. For a limited time from April 24th through June 24th, 60 days only, a 5-year subscription to SkyWatch TV magazine is just $99. That's more than $75 off the cover price, which is like getting 2 years for free. Exclusive content, articles on prophecy, discovery, and the supernatural from Tom Horn, Chris Putnam, Josh Peck, science updates from Sharon K. Gilbert, geopolitics from yours truly, and guest writers like Pulitzer Prize-nominated journalist Troy Anderson, renowned Bible scholar Dr. Michael Heiser, Pentagon advisor Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis, and more. But there is more. As an early subscriber, you'll be the first to get this new book from Defender Publishing. I predict what 12 global experts believe you'll see by 2025. This is a $20 value and includes best-selling authors like Joel Richardson, Mark Biltz, Carl Gallups, Tom Horn, Paul McGuire, and more. Find out what they think about the coming war between ISIS and the Vatican, the future of the Temple Mount and the Ark of the Covenant, a worldwide manifestation of angels, and the coming age of human hybrids. And we'll also add this DVD, The Best of SkyWatch TV 2015, a $25 value, including our most compelling interviews from last year, including Chuck Missler, Steve Quayle, the discussion of the Georgia Guidestones with Chris Pinto, and more. All of this together worth more than $200, yours now for just $99, but only through June 24th. Subscribe now, SkyWatch TV magazine. Just call the number on your screen or log on to skywatchtvstore.com.